Well, I think I just lost some of my video. Okay, we're recording now. These two bolts are 5/8. The bracket bolts are 21. The axle are 15 millimeter. So I'm going to get this set up to where you can see what I'm looking at, and let's get this thing taken apart. Do this without turning over the camera. There's two. I should take and find me a Alright, we're going to have to replace these calipers. Let me show you the mess. These are breaking and coming apart right here. Now, to get these others, the 21 millimeters out, I bet I'll have to use my big ratchet. As I have dirt from the mud flap falling in my face. All right, that one's broke loose. That one's broke loose. They say Ford TWRA on them, so maybe they are the originals. But I can tell you right now, they need to be replaced. Let's see. All right. The brake pads still had a little bit of life on them. Y'all need to come out from underneath the truck and sit right there for your viewing pleasure. Let's get this off of here. Now we need 15 millimeter. I do have the front tires. Got the front tires chalked to keep it from rolling, as well as the jack stands and the hydraulic jacks under the axles. Now what I will do is go get a drain pan. Yeah, somebody on a previous video, I guess they thought I was a mechanic by trade and did this for a living, but I don't. And they said I needed to quit being a mechanic and go find something else to do. And I replied, well, I'm a farmer. I can't afford to have everybody else working on my stuff. I got to figure out how to do it myself. All right. Looks like up here in the back of my truck, I got a piece of cardboard. This is cardboard that they lay on a pallet when I buy the ton of feed. What I'm going to do is pull this axle out, and then I'm going to go put it on that cardboard I just showed you. There's a little Let me pull it off. O-ring right here on the axle. That's your seal to keep it from coming out around there. Let me use this to collect. There you go. What I want to do here is, I got this out. I want to get the bearing out. The bearing looks like it's in pretty good shape. We'll take a look at that. But the whole thing on this is when you take it apart, you need to repack the bearings, replace the seal. It's not all of that for just a brake job. Let's see. Uh-oh. Do you see what I see? The parking brake is contaminated. So the wheel seal is bad. So when I clean this up, I'll have to replace the parking brake pads, the seal. Wow. See how a little job can end up being a big job? All right, let's go work on the other side. All right, it's getting late in the day. Just got back from the auto repair shop that turns rotors. They recommended new rotors and not to turn what was there, being a 1-ton and hauling heavy loads. Have a heat up problem and brake failure. So we took the rotor off. Got the seal out. I need to get on the computer, try to figure out where I live. I have to travel some miles to end up getting what I need. And then on looking here, the parking brakes pads, the seal was bad, so I'll have to replace that. The calipers are falling apart. The inside pistons are crumbling. Those need to be replaced. So just about everything on this will have to be replaced. So anyway, now it's time to put stuff up for the night, get on the computer, find out the nearest town, all the parts that I need. And like always, thanks for watching, and we'll get this truck put back together, back out on the road. Thanks again. Well, welcome back. This is Jay Reedy with the Reedy Chronicles. Getting ready to put together, starting the assembly on the rear end differential cover. It is a Fel Pro gasket, RDS 55447. Going to put that on there. Going to use some RTV blue or black to put on that. Haven't decided yet. I used this for cleaning off the old gasket. Cleaned up the differential cover. I painted it. I've got some of the multi-purpose to it, but I'm going to see if I have enough of this to put on the gasket. Both sides stuck to the cover, put into place. Going to torque it down 30 35 pounds, and I cleaned up all of the bolts. Remember, they are a 9/16 head on this, and so let's get started in putting this cover back on the differential on the rear of this truck. Well, I ended up having to use the RTV blue because the black was all hard, and we'll go ahead and stick this up there, get that drop of oil off of there. Fill the differential with, I'll have to look, I'm not sure what the rear end oil, 75 weight 90 I think, but we'll confirm that when I get ready to refill the differential housing. Well, good morning. We're back at it. We have everything torqued down on the passenger side, but let's do a quick overview update. And I'm rotating the tires as I'm doing this, so I'll go to the front next. But what I want to discuss at this time is the torque specs. Now keep in mind also, if you're working on one of these rear ends, it's a Dana 80, this axle on this side is longer than the other side. So if you're needing to replace an axle, both of them are not the same length. Okay? So, caliper support bolts, torque specs, and it's the big ones, is 101 foot-pounds. Then I have the wheel lugs. I have those at 140 pounds. These bolts for the axles, 60 to 80. I just torqued these down at 80. The banjo bolt that holds your hydraulic line to the back of your caliper, that's 25 foot-pounds. And then the rotor to hub, this rotor to the hub on the rear is 89 foot-pounds. Okay? So now I'm going to, because it's a four-wheel drive, I'm going to go ahead, lock in the hubs, put, yes kitty, what? Go ahead and lock in the hubs and then put the transfer case into gear, and we'll go ahead and start on the passenger side. So here we are, about, let's see, 279,305 miles on this vehicle. Not sure of the maintenance schedule that was done on it. But I'm going to go ahead and get started in breaking those loose before I jack up the truck. Looking at the front, the rotors are in great shape, so maybe I don't need front rotors. What I'll do is pull that caliper off see what condition, because maybe the previous owner replaced the rotor and the caliper and they're not trashed like they were on the rear. But sure enough, I got a tape measure measuring the thickness of one side, and that's 9/16 thickness, just one side right here. So these are relatively new. So I'll just take the caliper off, check the pads, and may not have to have pads or anything. We finished working on the truck and now it's starting to rain. Rotated the tires, new brake calipers, brake pads on the front. You saw the rest on the back: new rotors, brake calipers, brake shoes, brake pads. Of course, you saw the emergency brake. I'm shy 4 ounces of gear lube in the rear end. I've got everything cleaned up. I do need to do an oil change, so I will go test drive the truck now, then run to Waverly and got the core charges, 2 rotors for the front till I'll return. Get me another quart of gear lube, and I'll see if they've got the filter and everything. I've got the Bulletproof Diesel super oil cooler on this. You've seen that in other videos. So it takes quite a bit more oil, but a specialty filter on that, and I'm not sure who stocks that all the time. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned to see what else is happening on the farm.